Hi, I'm Will Wright with Campers Unlimited in Gadsden, Alabama, here at our own campground, The Cove. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to set a camper up, whether it's a fifth wheel travel trailer, whether it has auto level or manual, kind of from start to finish. So to kind of expedite everything, I've already hooked up the power cord to the camper. But what I do recommend with this power cord is that you purchase an inline surge protector to hook up to it, just because if you have laptops or anything else, any kind of damaged electrical equipment, this will take care of that and prevent surges. So just highly recommend it. Most of those you can pick up at any RV retailer, including ourselves. So once you have your power cord hooked up, a lot of people think they want to go ahead and put their slides out, but you don't. Slides can tilt the camper from left to right, and we want to make sure this camper is level first. If this was a manual travel trailer or fifth wheel, first thing you would have to do, either buy boards or purchase some leveling blocks and put under your tires, just using your own carpenter's level that you might have at home. Open the door on the opposite side, lay your level across the floor, and see if this camper is level from left to right. If it's not, use those blocks to drive up on top of on the low side of the camper until you have level. Then turn the level to the front and use your power tone jack with your travel trailer or fifth wheel to level it front to rear. In this case, we're working with a Reflection by Grand Design today that has auto level, so we won't have to do anything of that. But we're still going to leave the slides in. Simply hook up our power first, and secondary, we'll hook up everything that you might have to get to. Might be under the slides. For instance, a sewer hose or water line connection. Most of your sewer hoses that you purchase are already going to be outfitted with a clear filter, so that you can make sure when you've emptied it, this thing is clear and that everything's actually running out. And a very simple process: pop the cap. Any excess water you've had left in there from the previous floor will drain out. Run your sewer hose over to your septic line, which in this case is back here. Unscrew the cap, place this in place, and most of them will screw in, lock in. Come back over here to your, once this is hooked up, come back to your drain line so that you don't forget, and go ahead and open your gray tank fittings. The gray tank is going to be your shower and your sink water. So if you get both of these, then you're not storing any water tanks that you don't have to, but always leave that black tank closed. We have chemical, I'm going to show you in a minute, that you'll put into the toilet. The toilet has to have water in it inside the tank in order for that tablet to do anything. Otherwise, you're just flushing it right down literally down the toilet, right out the line. So leave that one closed until we're ready to go. So you've hooked up power, you've hooked up sewer, you've leveled it, if it's manual or auto level, which I'm going to show you in just a minute, and then you've opened up your lines. So next step is, since we have that hooked up, we would hook up our water line to it. Make sure that the water line that you use is a drinkable hose. Don't use a regular water hose that you would get from Home Depot or Lowe's or Walmart, because what they have is they're rubber lined, and that's going to taste pretty bad if you have to use it for ice or anything else. So with these, this end will hook up. Most of your campers you will feed through from underneath, but for time I'm just going to show you here. It'll say a city water connection. You hook up your city water. The opposite end, we will put a regulator on, which, got that, chop it. All right, a regulator we hook up to the opposite end of the hose, because you don't want to blow the water line. So we're regulating the water pressure so it doesn't blow your tanks out before we go into the camper or the water hose. Simply bring it over here to your faucets. Everything can be done hand tight. So lock that on. So now you literally have everything that you have to have hooked up. Start with power, surge protector if you like, sewer lines hooked up with valves open, and water hooked up. Turn that on once you're ready to go. But for now, we'll go ahead and finish doing all the setup of the camper. So now, since we're on a camper that has auto level, a fifth wheel, I've done a video before, if y'all remember seeing it, in which case you turn however your system turns on. This one's by the depressing of two buttons. And then simply make sure before you ever start that the nose of this camper is a little bit high. If it starts down low, you might end up with an error code. So put it up high, whether it come off your truck that way or not. Just run it up. Simply step back and take a look at it and say, does this look like it's high, or is it still nose down? So to me, it still looks nose down. So I'm going to run that up a little bit more. Just so we're sure that it's high enough. All right, once you're sure it is, you'll push your auto level system. It's going to think for a minute and see if it thinks it's level or not, and make any kind of adjustments. It's just going to blink until it processes that. All right, once your system has leveled, then we're ready to go for everything else. You're essentially ready to get camping. We'll go back to the opposite side. And you may have a camper that has a remote control, or you'd be able to use your cell phone. But I'm not pairing mine to this, so we'll simply go in. Next step is we're going to run all these slides out. Since we've already braced everything as far as jacks, the camper is not going to try and tilt left or right with the weight of the slide. Some of these slides are pretty big. So slides are out. We have power. You can go ahead and cut the air on, the lights on. Done with this, you can go ahead and put your awning out. But the last step I really want to cover over this, finishing this setup. Once your slides are out, your awnings are out, put out your patio chairs, whatever. In order to finish with what we started, hooking up the septic system, we also have to put chemical in the toilet. These come in drop-in tablets or liquid form. So simply all you're going to do is come up to the restroom, depress and open the valve to the toilet and drop a tablet in there. Let it continue to run for about 20 seconds because you need water to be inside that tank, which of course we've done because we closed off the black tank dump on the outside so it would hold water. So you're not going to empty that until you're ready to go. So let's skip ahead to you've been here 3 days and now you're ready to go home. Do everything in reverse. So the last thing we did before when we came in here, we turned on the lights, turned on the AC, we put the slides out. Do that in reverse. I won't do that today, but close everything up. So once again, it's easy to get to all your connections. All right, with all slides in, what you're going to do now is you've still got water hooked up. At this point, I need you to turn your water off because what we're going to do is we're going to rinse this black tank out. Because you might be going home and storing it for a while and you don't want anything to, the sun and the heat to build up with anything that's still inside that septic tank. So what we're going to do is we're going to rinse it out. So either inside your water hookup bay like it is here, or maybe on the rear of the camper, you will see a hookup that says black tank. It may say tank flush. You'll hook this in, but before we turn the water back on, we now need to open the black tank. Because what will happen is if that tank's not open, it's going to build up pressure. And then if you've seen the movie RV, it's not going to be very pretty. So we're going to open the black tank, we're going to let it all run out. And once again, I said with the sewer connection, you have the clear screen, the clear filter window. You see that is empty. You're here at the water faucet. Go ahead and turn it on. Let that run, generally for about 10 minutes until you see the water run clear, because you'll be surprised what's still going to come out of that tank because it is a flat tank. Once it's finished, turn the water off. Just let it continue to drain for a few minutes. Disconnect your water. Close all your tanks back up. Take your hose that's still connected to the sewer cap. Take your water hose and stick it down at the end of it and just rinse that hose out good with some really clean fresh water. Nothing that's run through the tank. And then you can simply take the two hoses and lock them together and keep them so they'll stay dry in case you put it in your storage tank. Wrap up your power cords, wrap up your water hose, your sewer, and you're set to go. A couple things that does make this a little easier though. For your septic tank, you will find this to go along with your sewer line. This is simply a caddy, so that you'll keep this hose running straight downhill. In this case too, we actually have the sewer connection to the ground is higher than the middle of the hose, so nothing is going to stop in the dead center. The caddy system, just like I said, will simply, once you expand this out, we'll brace it all the way down and just keep it at a slope. And this, of course, is the chemical that you purchase that you drop inside the toilet. Once you are finished rinsing everything out and closing everything up, please remember to take one of those tablets and go ahead and drop it back into the toilet again. You'll still have some water in there just to keep anything that possibly got left in the tank from building up any kind of smell or turning to solid, because this also dissolves. So if you'll do all that, everything will be done. You're ready to go camping again next week.